you kind of want to take control?
To say like before we go in there, I'd be like, I think today I want to explain it, or I think today I want to tell my doctor what medicine I'm taking. That's how I got her to kind of like go a little bit. Because
Okay.
before, she was like, no, you're going to get it wrong, or no, you're going to mess it up. So before we're in the room, I was like, I think I got it today. She was
I
like,
got
okay.
it. Okay.
Know that,
And what I will say is when you guys are trying to communicate like strong boundaries, I would leave out the word think. I would say, I got it today, Mom. Because when you say I think, or maybe I'm going to try, that's kind of an unsure boundary. Like that means maybe she can do it, or maybe I can hop in when I want to, when I think she. So we want to be clear with our boundaries. We want to say, Mom, today I feel really confident. And I think that I could be the one talking to. Well, I feel like I will be the one that could best talk to the doctor today. And that way your parent will know that you're clear about their boundary and there's not any unsureness and you feel confident about going in there and talking to that doctor.
I definitely started doing that like 13 because she was going crazy. And I was just like, no, I want to talk every time. And so I started talking every time. And all my doctors would be like, wow, like not a lot of people know all of the things that you know. And I'm just like, yeah, because they, like they're not standing up for themselves. But I just
Yeah, one night I just memorized my medicine. I was like a week before I memorized all my medicine. When I went there, I was so prepared. I was like, I take this, I take
this. Girl.
For me, my mom, she never was the type of parent to take over anything. She always gave it to me. And if I ever had questions or I didn't know what the doctor was asking, I would look at her and she would say it. But other than that, I never had that problem.
That's good.
Must be nice.
When I was on that with my mom, because now that I'm older, one thing that I just did, instead of like talking to her beforehand, when we got into the room with the doctor, I just kind of took control myself. I beat her to it, so she couldn't even get a word out because I was too busy self-advocating.
I was gonna suggest, you guys just race them. Just go ahead and jump in there.
Yeah. Beat them to the punch.
Yeah, and I will say, as a provider who is in the hospital rooms and who's in the clinic rooms, talking with a lot of our rising teens and things like that, I usually tend to go in there facing the teen because I really want to let the parent know, like, I'm here for them and I'm not really here for just the parent. But sometimes not all of us as providers, we do that. Sometimes we just unconsciously will face the parent and kind of reinforce that message of they're the expert and not you. And so if you jump in there, then the first thing you will see in our body language is us turning directly to you, giving you that eye contact. And just kind of letting that kind of be the cue to your parents of like, oh, we want to hear what they have to say, not so much what they have to say. And I think it shows a lot for those of you who have kind of had to set those boundaries. The smiles on your face while you're talking about it, of why boundaries are so helpful and healthy, because you really feel good. You feel a sense of empowerment. You feel like, okay, I've done something that's responsible for myself, that's independent, and you just feel good about yourself, and that's great.
And then also, like at the hospital, something that's been good for me is the healthcare provider will take me into a different room where my mom's not at. And then so like we have one-on-one conversation. Now it's just us.
Okay.
Yes, and I've seen that tactic used as well, like ask the parents to leave out the room so they can ask the teens some questions without mom hovering over them the whole time.
I definitely did that.
Yes, definitely. So now, guys, I just want to segue a little bit to talk about, since we're talking about boundaries, I really want this session to help you guys understand what boundaries are and the different kinds of boundaries that you can set. And I think earlier I did a little bit where someone gave a scenario of their boundary, and it was a very clear boundary. But sometimes we don't have really clear boundaries. So one type of boundary, there are three types of boundaries. You have a rigid or aggressive boundary. So that's like when I may be very rude with my boundary, like stay off my lawn. I better not catch y'all on my lawn anymore. So that's something like very aggressive. Your neighbor like yelling out the front door about what you do. It's normally very strict. So sometimes our parents may set aggressive boundaries of what we can do and cannot do. And next boundary that we can set is a clear boundary or an assertive boundary. But when you tell someone that's something that's very clear and very assertive, I feel like this breakout room was a very clear and assertive boundary. She said, hey, I'm going to put the teens in a breakout room and I'm going to put the facilitators in that breakout room. Very clear. Everyone understood what was happening. That was an easy boundary for all of us to understand. I'm sorry if you guys hear my 1-year-old in the background. So, and then our next boundary is a fuzzy or a passive boundary. So that's a boundary where you're kind of like, oh, I seen you wore my shoes. I guess you can wear them again, but I really don't want you to wear my shoes again. I'm just telling you, but my face kind of looks like I don't want you to wear them, but then my mouth is saying you can wear them. So that's like a very unsure boundary. Like, I don't know if she wants me to do this or if she doesn't want me to do that. And a lot of times that happens in our romantic relationships, that we give these fuzzy and passive boundaries because I don't want you to not like me, or I don't want you to think that I'm a certain way because I'm setting this boundary, but I want the boundary to be there. But if you want to break it, I don't want to seem like I don't want you to break it. So like we let these fuzzy boundaries because we build these relationships with people and we don't want to set anything strict. So we kind of make our boundaries really fuzzy. Did everyone clearly understand what the clear boundaries were, assertive and aggressive and passive boundaries? Have any of you guys ever experienced somebody giving you any of these passive boundaries?
Sometimes I'm the one to give passive boundaries because it's just like, it's like I'm nice. I don't know. I don't have a medium. It's like I'm either really nice or I'm just like really like, you know, mean. So, it's just like,
So you're either passive or very rigid.
yeah,
Is that what you
literally, it's no middle. So sometimes if I don't want to hurt your feelings, I'll be like, yeah, you know, I guess, you know, but it's just like, it's like what you said, like my face is like, no, but then my mouth is like,
no.
no, but then my mouth is like, yeah, I guess it does. You can do it. But that I've actually been wanting to get out of that and like just be like, what I say is what I say and how you take it is how you take it. Just know that it's not coming from a malicious place, you know. But I'm working on that.
Same thing for me. I'm not really a passive person. I'm very direct. So if I don't want you to do something, you're gonna know. I don't really worry about people's feelings. I feel like that's a personal problem.
I love it. I love it.
I tell you.
Emotions are not my problem.
My person talking to me.
I always don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so I'm always like, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Or they'd be like, are you sure? I'd be like, you're fine. But like in my head, I'm like, why did I do that?
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
something.
I'm in the same boat. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I agree with things that I'd be like, why are you even asking me? Like, oh my God. Like, oh.
Okay.
All right, well, I guess so. It's whatever. It's whatever. Let's go.
Thank you, Quentin.
And do you guys feel like, with all of us being warriors, do you think that affects us having more passive boundaries because we want to be more friendly and we want to be nice and we want to kind of fit in? Do you guys think that affects you not making those really clear boundaries?
Yeah, I can say that for some people who like they feel like because they have sickle cell, then people are not going to want to be friends with them. Like all my friends know that sickle cell. I'm very transparent and with it. And so for me, that's not a problem. But I can see that for other people.
I had to get comfortable in my sickle cell. Like middle school, I was like so embarrassed of having sickle cell. So I would do all the things I was supposed to, like not follow any of the rules just because I didn't want anyone to know. Or if I felt like if I didn't do this, they'd be like, well, why can't you do it? And I had to explain. But like as I got older, I know now. It's like, okay, you're going to have to deal with me and my sickle cell or not me at all. So.
This is a package deal, okay?
There we go.
And I'm glad you're learning that now because there are some adults who are still ashamed to talk about it and ashamed to tell people. And sometimes it comes from the parent kind of shaming them or don't tell nobody or hiding it. So they carry that into adulthood. So it's good. I think that's good that you're learning that now. It's, hey, you either gonna deal with it or you not, but this is me. It's not all of me. I'm much more than sickle cell, but it's a part of me, and this is what could happen with it.
Yeah, and from a very young age, that's what my mom always told me, that sickle cell is a portion of me, but sickle cell is not all of me. And she made it very clear that she didn't want me to use sickle cell as a crutch to think that I couldn't do anything that my friends did. Like I might have to modify it a bit, but I was able to do everything that my friends did and be in the same environments they were. I was lucky enough to even play sports all the way through my college years. And that was challenging for somebody with sickle cell, but I had to just make accommodations of how I handled myself in certain environments. So we just have to realize that sickle cell isn't everything, but we just may have to change things or tweak things just a little bit so we can still be a part of what's needed. But that does not require us to lower our boundaries or to lower what things make us feel comfortable, and to not allow people to make us feel uncomfortable. Because there are plenty of times where my coach is like, go in the game, you got it, we need you. But I'm like, no, I need water. Like,
You can also set boundaries with your provider too, as well, because I know like sometimes your provider will try to like, some of them will try to hinder you, not in a bad way because they don't believe in you. It's just because they just don't want to see anything happen to you. So I remember in college, I wanted to do a gym class every semester just so I could stay active. And so I'll have to get cleared for that. And so like when I would go to my doctor, they'll say, I don't think that's a good idea. And I'm like, well, I know what's best for me. I know my body, so I would like for you to sign this waiver. And if I get sick, then I get sick, and I know to take a step back. Until then, don't count me out and just let me figure out what's best for my body. So I did that. So it's also good to set boundaries with your physician too, because yes, they know the book definition, they know the book stuff, they don't live with it and they don't deal with it and they don't know exactly, like how it's tailored to you. So you have to let them know in a respectful way, but just let them know like what it is and what it's not. So.
And I'm glad that you said that, because a lot of times we feel uncomfortable setting boundaries with our physicians because they feel like an authoritative figure. They feel like someone that may know more than you. Their advice is probably the best advice. But I can't tell you how many times I was told by doctors that I couldn't play sports. And so I had to show to them that I could. And like you said, when I went to the doctor and they asked me, well, how is basketball going or how is volleyball going? I had to advocate for myself and say, it's going great. And I'm doing wonderful. Yes, like I said, yes, I can't be like everyone and run 20 sprints all day long. But I can, still be in shape and still participate. So I think that that's great, because sometimes that's really difficult to do because you feel like they're an authoritative figure and you feel like that they may know more than you, but no one knows your body like you do.
And trust me, not all doctors, no shade, but not all doctors know what they're doing, okay? So,
Two snaps, girl, 2 snaps.
When you have a doctor ask you, how long have you had sickle cell? You say, oh, no, get me another one. What are you doing? This is
that's facts.
I had somebody ask me that, and I was like, yeah, can I switch? I don't
The same thing happened to me.
You feel me? Nah. So yeah,
That happened a few times.
You feel me? Like,
yeah, I've had that happen to me a few times too.
You went to school for how many years? And you asking me a what now? So yeah, you're very clear and set boundaries with everybody in your life. It doesn't matter if they know more than you. Nobody knows your body like you know your body. So. And
I've even had to set boundaries with nurses, like sticking me 3-4 times. Like I'm not,
right.
I'm not going to allow you to keep doing it.
You get 2 tries and you gotta go get somebody else.
Hey, 2 sticks, that's it. 2 sticks, that's it.
Sometimes I ask them beforehand, how long have you done this? Because in that mindset, I don't have the time for you to practice. At that moment, I need somebody who know what they're doing, who can go on and give me my relief and stop playing. So,
and Mia, and that's your boundary. I won't let anyone that doesn't have experience work on me. That's a boundary that I'm setting.
No,
I had to find the vein for a nurse one time. She was like sticking me all in my arm. I was like, there's a good one right here. There's a good one right here.
And that's advocating for yourself too. Like I know where my strong veins are. I'm not gonna let anyone stick me in my hand when I know my hand doesn't have as many strong veins like the middle of my arm does. So
Right.
your part to
Yeah,
advocate
that's right.
stuff. Don't sit there and let people stick you and you know it's not going to work.
Right. Oof. Yeah, too many times.
Mia, how much more time do we have?
Well, if you have more, we can what you're doing, and then it'll be a good segue into the next session.
Okay, I just have just 2 little examples, and for them to be able to set the boundary for that example.
Okay,
and
that's fine. And we'll
the next
once
one.
we're done, then we'll just wrap it up and we'll talk about the rest in the next session. So it's fine.
And just quickly before I do the activity, I didn't get to go over examples of unhealthy boundaries, and I'm just going to list them for you guys. I don't have that much time to really dialogue about it. But unhealthy boundaries would be like trusting everyone or trusting no one. Like you need to have someone that you can trust, someone that you can confide in and tell them what you need. Also, unhealthy boundaries is when people go against your personal values. So if people go against things that are your morals and things that really are important to you, that's a very unhealthy boundary. And you continuing to allow that person to do that is only going to take a toll on you. Also, giving as much as you can just for the sake to be liked. Has anyone ever gave just so they could be liked? I know when I was a kid, I got in trouble for giving to my friends a lot because, like you said, when you have sickle cell, you want everybody to be your friend. So I would just get a brand new pair of shoes and be like, "Here, friend, you can have these." And my parents was like, "Oh no, girl, we don't do that."
We're gonna get those. We're gonna get those back.
Not
Yeah.
the shoes.
But someone said,
like really true friends that really like you, appreciate you. You won't have to do all this extra stuff just to.
"There we go. There we go." If they were my really good friends, they would say, "No, we don't want your new stuff. Like, you take your stuff." Also allowing people to direct you without questioning. So like following others or doing what the crowd does without even trying to identify what's going on here. So an unhealthy boundary is believing that others can anticipate your needs. You guys know what that means.
Ooh,
Expecting people to know what's going on with
Here
you.
we go. Oh, because people are not mind readers. That comes to your parents, that comes to your physician, that comes to your relationships. You cannot expect others to know what you need. You have to communicate that in a clear boundary. People are not mind readers. I'm sitting here with my arms crossed. I don't know what's wrong with you, and I can't help if you don't tell me what you need. And I can't tell you how many times I sat with my arms crossed thinking somebody's gonna help me, and that did not get what I needed. It just made me even madder and even more upset. And also with sickle cell, I like to call it an invisible disease. Nobody else can see it but you. So if you're in pain or if something's going on, no one's gonna know what you need if you don't communicate that to them at all. I could be in a crisis right now and none of y'all would know unless I communicate that to y'all.
Right.
So that's a very important thing when it comes to sickle cell. People do not know what you need, including your spouses. When you get older and I'm married and I have to communicate to my husband what I need. If I don't communicate that, he will not know. And also not letting others define you. So knowing who you are and being confident in yourself with a strong boundary where you don't let others take advantage of you. So that's it for unhealthy boundaries. I just have 2 examples. And I just want to know if you guys can set a clear boundary for these 2 examples that I have. So the first example, one of the classmates has a habit of telling jokes that are racial and sexual and degrading. These comments have been made towards others, but they go against your beliefs. And they're causing you to feel uncomfortable around him because he sits right behind you. So how would you guys discuss a boundary with this person that's making rude, racial, and sexual degrading jokes in your classroom?
So you can talk to them and tell them like why it's not right, and why it's wrong. and to stop.
Okay.
I'll be like, if you feel comfortable, you can do that on your own time, away from me, but not around me. Don't say stuff like that.
What if they continue?
Then I feel like me personally, I'm very vocal. So once I tell you once and I tell you why you shouldn't do this and that you're not gonna do it around me,
Yes.
that's when I feel like I'm gonna have to take it and make it unacceptable to where you can't do it around anybody, because I'm gonna let everybody know. And you're not gonna feel comfortable saying it anymore.
I like that. Okay.
Okay. And so I would say when you first start off setting clear boundaries, it's always important to put a I feel. Like, I feel uncomfortable when you do this, or this makes me feel angry when you say these things, so people can understand how you're feeling in the inside and how their comments or their jokes or whatever they're saying is making you feel. Because sometimes when we come off telling people what we think they should do, then they get really defensive. So we want to try to express our boundaries to people where they're not defensive and they understand that we're communicating our needs. But I think you guys did an awesome job with being very direct with that person. Sounds like a few of you might have had a few aggressive boundaries to say to that person in your classroom.
That's okay.
We're shooting for yeah. So we're just shooting for clear boundaries. So I just want you guys to kind of notice the difference of their boundaries. If it's aggressive, if it's clear, or if it's passive.
It can be aggressive and clear.
There we go. It can be. It can be.
It can be assertive and clear.
Different situations call for different kinds of boundaries.
Yes.
Yeah, because if
I
it's
felt like he might have
repeatedly,
been being aggressive. Like that classmate might have been being aggressive and kind of rude. So you might have
Yeah.
right?
You have to match the energy.
Exactly. Read my mind.
Okay, so here's the next one. All right. You're working for a job and you need to complete a report each Friday morning, but coworkers continuously keep entering your office and creating traffic, which just cause you to miss a couple of deadlines on Fridays. So what do you guys think? How could you communicate that to the people in your office or the people around you that you need to handle what you need to handle on Fridays?
I'm gonna sit this one out because that's every Friday.
Took your whole life.
I will send out an email to everyone, and then if you choose to ignore that email, then I'm just gonna get me a do not disturb sign. Don't come into my
home.
Yeah.
Right.
I
I
would
would
say
say
I
I would put a timetable up as far as from 10 to 12 or 10 to 1 or whatever. Don't enter my office. I haven't experienced that, but that's what I'm thinking I would do. You know, don't enter my office.
I think, Quinn, that's a very clear boundary, because in that way I'm saying, hey, I'm not saying no one can come to my office at any time because y'all might need me. But between 10 and 2, I can't help you.
Okay, so I have to leave, guys. I'll be back in like 15 minutes. I got a job interview.
Okay, girl. Well, good
Good
luck.
luck.
Thank
And we'll be off in 15 minutes. So if you want, you got your email in the chat.
Okay, I'll text it to Kiara to put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you, and we'll be.
Bye.
Bye. Good luck.
That's Monday.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like everyone here really. Did anyone else have a boundary that they would have set for their work environment?
I'll just get one of those things because I used to be an RA. So I'll like make something that says like in my office or working, like, and like put clothespins next to it so people would know what I'm doing, if that makes sense. Like, so I'm out, or do not disturb, or you can come in or something like that. That's what I did when I was an RA. So people would know like when they could knock on my door, or if I was even in my suite, or if I didn't want to be bothered, just different things like that.
Perfect. I think you guys gave really good examples of how you could communicate clear boundaries to your coworkers. I had this issue when I was in elementary school because elementary students don't understand time management. So if I had another student in my room, they're like banging on my door, Miss Robin, we need you. And I'm like, I can't help you. So I had to create, because I communicate to them many times, very clear, but they didn't understand that. So I had to put like a stop sign, a literally red stop sign on my door, so they would see that and notice like this symbol means that I can't knock on Miss Robin's door. So sometimes you have to modify your boundaries so your audience will understand what you need from them. So like they said, if the email don't work, then that means I got to put up a do not disturb sign. So you just got to kind of do what you need to protect your energy. And that is it for me today. I always like to do a checkout at the end of meetings that I have. So if I could I get you guys to go around and just say how you're feeling right now? And on a scale from 1 to 5, was this helpful? 1 being not helpful at all, 5 being, I think it was helpful today.
I'll go first then, since everybody's quiet. I forgot what you just asked for. I know it was.
How you feeling?
Okay, how am I feeling? I'm feeling good because I was just dealing with a female about certain things, and now that you talk about boundaries, I realized that we didn't even have that conversation about go back and talk. Like, you know what? That's what we didn't have. That's why we had these arguments, because we didn't talk about what our boundaries was. So I'm kind of happy that Mia called me at the last minute and told me to get on, because I don't have to come back and steal all your information to go back and have this conversation. But I think it was really helpful, though. I appreciate it. I give it a 5. That's as far as the information and everything. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And I just want to say that good is not a feeling word. So I
don't know.
It's more like happy, calm, excited.
Well, I'm excited.
Okay. I'm sorry. That's just a therapist in me. I can't accept good.
That's okay.
I can't accept any of those words.
Anybody else want to give how they felt the session, Robin's presentation was?
I felt happy. It was really engaging and informative.
Good.
Give it a 5.
Awesome.
Feel good. I give it a 5. I feel like I learned that I need to be more strict with my boundaries, so I'm gonna work on that.
I love it. Okay. Me too, girl. Me too.
Hey, me 3. We all need to work on boundaries. It's easier said than done, ladies. Easier said than done.
Kyla, Dylan, what about you, Jasmine?
I give it a 5. I feel informed. I learned a lot about how to set boundaries.
Okay. Good.
I feel
be honest.
Better, if that's okay to say. But I feel better because I was going through a situation when I didn't, like people weren't taking me serious with my boundaries. So I realized like I gotta be more aggressive towards my boundaries. So.
And instead of an aggressive, just try to be clear. Like really, I want you guys to really think about what you need from that person or for yourself, and just clearly communicate that. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to be rude. It just needs to be clear. It needs to be a time frame. It needs to be something that people can measure. If it's something that you need, you just need to clearly communicate that, and try to leave out those words, or I think, or maybe, or let me see. Try to leave those words out. Just try to be very clear about what you need from others.
And write it down. Don't be afraid to just kind of, if you aren't sure about how to start that conversation, just write it down. And then that way you can just kind of see it on paper or on your phone and just say, okay, I wrote all this stuff, but this right here is what I need. I need this. And then that sometimes can help that conversation as well.
Right. Now, how well do you think the information that Dr. Ekman and Haneen gave prior to the breakout room?
That's good information. I feel like going back into school, we need to be more serious. Because I was so excited to go back to school. And then when I found out they were just like throwing us back in there like regular, I was like,
You go to school in Gwinnett County, right, Kiara?
Yeah, I go to Duluth. And my school is like,
all digital now.
We have like 3,000 students. Like when it rains, everybody's like in one side of the building. I'm like pushing, squeezing. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I thought it was like restrictions.
Right.
It was just
But now they're making
it was
everybody
regular. But
they're
now we
making
have
everybody go to
digital.
school online.
Yeah, now we have digital.
Right. Okay, that's great. I'm glad Dr. Ekman was able to give y'all that information to take with y'all, because these are some very unsure times. And even when things gets back to some type of normalcy, it'll be a different kind of normal that we have to adjust to, and that we're still trying to adjust. So for the next session, it will be in September. I'm not sure of a date just yet, but it will be in September, and we're going to be talking about sex. We're going to dive a little bit more into relationships and dating, and we're going to be talking about sex because it's something that you guys need to know about, period, but also from a sickle cell standpoint. So with that in mind, just bring your questions, and anything. Don't be afraid to ask us anything. That's with Nika, Quentin, myself, Robin, and Dr. Mason is in here for, and even Devantia. That's what we're here for. So don't be afraid, and Naima, don't be afraid to ask us anything. We've probably been there where you've been or where you may be considering. So just don't be afraid to ask anything. So anybody else?
I am Christian and I go to church. I don't know what she's talking about.
Well, we'll let
you can go to church and still have questions.
We'll okay. So have your presentation ready, Quentin, since you go to church and read the Bible and all that.
And I read the Bible, that's right.
There you go. So
Sunday.
okay, but we'll be in touch with you with the exact date. So like I said, bring your questions and tell your friends to tune in because we try to have material geared for y'all. This is for y'all. So we want to give y'all as many tools and resources to be able to go into adult healthcare and adulthood, period, with your armor, with your tools, and you're ready. So ready, set, transition, right? Siobhan says you can log off. Everybody can just log out when we're done. And
so the whole thing is done, like we're done completely?
Yeah, because we're not going to go back into the other room. Everything that was discussed needed to be discussed because I didn't want to do the back and forth. It's funny. So
in the beginning, someone mentioned a prize.
Yes, so Blaze never came in, so
Blaze may owe 2 prizes next time.
I will let Ms. Blunt give her the names because I was taking notes. So I'll give her the names and suggestions and what I thought and go from there. And she'll be in contact with y'all.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank y'all so much.
Have a good day.
Have a good
Bye.
week.
I enjoyed you guys. Bye.
Bye.